Have we finally become God? Well, like God created humans from his fragments. Recently, Columbia University scientists also created a mini clone of a cancer patient to better understand the disease, an exact replica of a human body, to study and test how the original patient's body will react to therapy. But in the end, how does this miraculous small human clone look? Is it alive or not? And cloning in the most of the countries is banned, it is illegal.
Known cloning techniques to actually create a human being is untested, unsafe, and morally unacceptable.
So is there a loophole which is helping these scientists? And even some companies are secretly creating human clones. And if that's the case, isn't it possible that many of these clones are secretly living among us today? Well, modern science has become so advanced today that many of us are not even aware of its full extent. And this was just a glimpse of the latest technology. Alexia Lopez, a PhD student from the United Kingdom, has discovered such a revolutionary megastructure in the field of research, which physicists never even considered existed. The name of this massive structure is the Big Ring. And how this will add a new dimension to our understanding of the universe, we will discuss this in detail further ahead. Today, research is being conducted on a large scale, but even on a micro scale, technology has become very interesting. Look at this video clearly. It shows how this spring-like structure is rotating on its own axis and how it is inserting a lazy sperm-like structure into an egg. Do you know what this thing is? This is a small robot. A nanorobot is a nanobot, which scientists have created to target and kill cancerous cells. Now, exactly how are scientists doing this? Its technique will also be known to you in a few minutes, and you are going to be mind-blown. Like the past century, many such discoveries and inventions have been made in this century which are going to change the world ahead. But no one paid attention to them. Maybe we were busy on Instagram, so hence today's video is dedicated to those greatest scientific achievements that are taking humanity to the next level. So let us start with our first discovery, the Big Ring. Look into the night sky, and if you look at north direction, here lies the Boots constellation and Ursa Major. Between these constellations, you will see a big ring-like structure. This is called the Big Ring. It is so vast that estimates suggest that to measure its width, we will have to arrange 13,000 Milky Way galaxies in a single line. And exactly this is what goes against the principles of physics. Let me explain to you how. Actually, in science, there is a fundamental principle called the cosmological principle, which states that in this universe, on a larger scale, no space or region is special. Everywhere you look, you will see almost the same things, and all the laws of physics will work in the same way everywhere. Because according to this principle, approximately 13.8 billion years ago, when the Big Bang happened, which, by the way, if you didn't know, gave birth to our universe. So at that time, the entire matter was concentrated in a microsecond. All the energy was concentrated in a single point. All the anomalies spread out in 4 directions in an instant, from which later hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, and all these elements were formed. This is the reason why, at the beginning of this universe's creation, cosmic microwave background radiations can also be observed in the radiations. Except for some small dark spots here and there, you will see that the radiations are equally spread everywhere. But the megastructure named the Big Ring that we have found goes against this cosmological principle because it represents a special place in the universe where the amount of matter is significantly concentrated compared to the surrounding areas. Plus, if we found such a structure, it could be anomalous, or we could even say that it might be a coincidence. Or maybe there was a mistake by scientists in measuring this, but scientists have also found 3 more such structures. Klaus Campusano Group, the Great Wall, and the Giant Arc, which are equally massive. So what now, you may ask? Does it mean that the cosmological principle is disproved? What difference does it make? Even if the universe is not equally distributed, why do we need to study that further? Well, that's because without the cosmological principle, our already tough physics calculations would become 10 times harder. Because when you conduct an experiment on Earth today and then repeat it, let's say 5 years later, wouldn't you expect the same results in the lab? In those 5 years, our Earth, there is motion in the solar system, our Milky Way galaxy, and the galaxies within the local group. All these movements at least involve millions and billions of kilometers of motion in space. Now, if the cosmological principle is not there, which says that the laws of physics are same at every place, so in all the experiments conducted on Earth, we would also have to take into account our current position in space every time for accurate calculations, which basically means this single discovery has challenged our complete understanding of physics and the universe. And now, only time will tell how scientists find a way out of this unique pothole. Now let's move on to another major scientific achievement, which is nanobots. Human body is very complex. Some human surgeries are quite complex, and even experienced doctors sometimes face challenges in such surgeries where avoiding complications becomes extremely difficult. Like, for example, in our ear structure, there is a parotid gland. If this gland becomes tumorous and needs to be removed, performing such a surgery can be extremely tricky even for experienced surgeons. If by mistake, while cutting the tumor, the facial nerve gets cut, the patient's half face will become paralyzed. Then similar dangers can occur during thyroid operations as well. If by mistake the recurrent laryngeal nerve gets cut, which controls our vocal cords, the patient may lose their voice permanently. Human are humans. Anyone can make a mistake. For the past few years, our medical professionals have desperately been looking for ways to perform minimally invasive procedures using necessary technology. It means the need to make least and smallest incisions. This ensures that patients are not afraid or hesitant about treatment or undergoing the procedure. And for this, scientists developed such nanobots. That means if it is injected directly into your body like a drug, it can target specific areas like the thyroid. Or tumors of any area can be targeted without any complex surgery. For example, the sperm nanobot fusion we saw in the beginning has revolutionized treatment by making it more scientific and upgraded. They loaded sperm cells with doxorubicin hydrochloride, a toxic anti-cancer drug. Then, by magnetically controlling nanobots made of iron oxide, they targeted the anti-cancer sperms to the tumor and further used these guided sperms to penetrate cancer cells for killing them. Earlier, anti-cancer drugs had two major side effects, as they not only damaged healthy tissues near the cancerous area but also mixed with our body fluids, causing harm. This led to treatment being ineffective. But with this new technology, we use our own sperms as suicide missions on the cancer cells. Both these problems are solved, and hence a highly effective drug delivery system has been developed. So, to all the cancer patients out there, I just want to say, just hang in there. Very soon, treating your cancer will be as easy as getting a vaccine in the nearby clinic. And now let's move on to the next big achievement, which is miniature nuclear batteries. Imagine that. A phone that never needs to be charged, a remote or a watch whose battery never needs to be replaced, and a camera that captures your best moments without running out of power. Well, guess what? In the next 4 or 5 years, this could be possible. A Chinese company, Beijing Betavolt New Energy Technology Company Limited, has created a new type of nuclear-powered battery, which is as small as a grain of rice. Once manufactured, they can keep devices charged for decades without recharging or maintenance. Just recently, the World Nuclear Association also promoted it on their official LinkedIn handle, looking at which Beijing Betavolt people are positive that they will bring nuclear-powered batteries to market by 2045. Now, how does this work? In this, a radioactive isotope of nickel, nickel-63, is used, which is placed between two synthetically made diamond layers. So when this nickel-63 decays, radioactive decay and high-energy beta particles, or simply high energy, are produced. When the speed electrons are released, they collide with the atoms of the diamond, knocking out their electrons and causing them to fly away. Now, obviously, this causes a significant number of electrons to accumulate in the structure of the diamond, while on other side, it decreases. So if these two low and high density regions are connected with a wire, current will start flowing through it. This is technically identical to solar cells. That's the entire concept. Here, instead of using sunlight to knock electrons, a radioisotope is used for particles. But this question will also come to your mind. For nuclear power, massive power plants have to be installed, requiring heavy safety precautions, and to keep its core cold, it has to be kept submerged in water, and so on. So how did this Beijing Betavolt fit such a complex technology into such a small coin-sized battery? Well, unlike traditional nuclear power plants, where nuclear energy is first converted into thermal and then electrical energy, and then the strong nuclear force, which is the third fundamental force of nature, is utilized. Here, in the case of Beijing Beta Volt, on the other hand, nuclear energy is being directly converted into electrical energy. The weak nuclear force, the fourth fundamental force of nature, is being used for this purpose. And hence these batteries are very small. But if the radioactivity is involved, then how safe is it? Radioactive substances are commonly associated with cancer. So while this battery contains a radioactive core made of nickel-63, as we learned, it is powered by weak nuclear force, means it emits low-penetrating beta particles. But they don't produce strong nuclear forces like uranium-235 core in traditional nuclear plants. It means that after penetrating one of the hardest substances like diamond, there is no chance that it will pierce voltage battery protection casing either. So these next generation batteries will be quite safe. Still, extra precautions will be taken. Beta World Company plans to first supply these batteries for medical devices and space tech. And after thorough testing, we will see these batteries in common consumer products. Now let's move on to our fourth and the most important achievement, which is a cloning breakthrough. We had known for years that human cloning or even animal cloning is illegal. But then, the kind of news that are coming recently, it seems like a secret cloning industry might be flourishing. And people are earning a lot from it. Now, how is this even happening? In 1996-97, when Dolly the sheep, the first cloned animal, was created, some scientists were keen to test cloning technology on humans too. Their belief was that this technique could help infertile couples. Around the same time, an American cloning company named Clonaid was established, and it immediately announced its intention to use the cloning technique developed for Dolly, somatic cell nuclear transfer, on humans as well. Basically, in this technique, they would take some tissue samples from the parents and then extract the nucleus from one of those cells. A nucleus from another tissues would then be injected. And after that, whichever cell out of these million cells would multiply, they would grow it to the embryonic stage, then it would then be implanted into the uterus of a surrogate mother. At the end of this process, the final baby that was born would completely be a clone of its parent. His body was almost identical to the one from which he received the nucleus. Simply put, it was an exact replica of its parent, just from a different timeline. Now, using this technology, Clonaid's chief executive officer, Brigitte Boisselier, claims that they have already made 20 human clones. Their first baby, Eve, was reportedly born on December 26, 2002, which means today Eve would be a 23-year-old college-going girl if we believe what they said. And the fact that she is a clone of a human, she might not even know. But if cloning is banned, then how is this even possible? Well, it turns out that's just the half-truth. Firstly, human cloning is only banned in certain countries. Out of the 195 countries that currently exist, cloning is banned in only 46 countries. Hence, Clonaid developed the cloned babies outside its home country, the United States of America. Secondly, out of the 46 countries that have banned it, almost all of them have specifically banned human cloning. Animal cloning is not banned, meaning animal cloning trials and cloning techniques are being actively pursued in many countries. In fact, you won't even realize it. But in today's context, many foreign celebrities are cloning their pets to keep their tissue samples for future use. And they send them to United States-based Biogen Pets, China-based Sinogene, or South Korea-based Suum Biotech. And then within just 2 to 3 months, the cloned puppies of their deceased pet are delivered to their home. Does this mean that today we have advanced so much in cloning? If this ban is completely lifted, then we can create a completely cloned version of any human being. In fact, when I mentioned in the beginning about the scientist from Columbia University Research who created a miniature clone of a cancer patient, well, that demonstrates our tremendous human cloning ability. For this research, the lead scientist, Professor Gaudana Wunjok Nowakovich, and her team first grew tissues of the patient's heart, bone, liver, and skin in 4 separate compartments. Then they connected them with blood vessels and circulated patient's blood circulation system. And then they tested it anti-cancer drug doxorubicin to compare it with real-life human trials. The results showed that the miniature organ system was reacting just like it does in clinical trials with doxorubicin, creating a similar human-like response. This means if there are no ethical concerns, then we are this close to becoming God. So friends, make sure to share this video with your friends and family members you know. Our mission is to promote scientific thinking in India and to develop a scientific culture. This will empower every individual in the country and will contribute to creating brilliant minds and scientists for our country. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Until then, Jai Hind.